Hi everyone, Kyle here from BF Light Shows, and in today's video we're going to show you the difference between the Your Pixel Store gems, gumdrops, and then standard bullet pixels. We're going to go over how they look when they're lit up and what they look like when they're pushed into Coro, as well as the process of actually putting them into the Coro. We all know that pushing bullet pixels into Coro is a little bit rough, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to test out the gumdrops and the gems as well. And we'll give an example. We'll light this up and show you what it looks like. Up first, we'll go ahead and we will just light these up. So we have your standard white here. Let's see what that looks like. We all know what bullet pixels look like. And we'll go ahead and we'll light up the gumdrops. So these have this kind of translucent, opaque type of cover on them, and it diffuses the light. And then we have our gems over here, which these are more of a transparent cover on the front, and then they have this little black covering over on the side. So these ones are a little bit different look. These ones do have a little bit brighter of a spot in the center since it is more translucent. It's a little bit more clear than this kind of opaque, translucent kind of cover. So we'll start with the gumdrop or the gems. We'll put those in on the outside here. Then we'll do the other outside with the gumdrops, and then we'll do the bullets in the center. So after pushing a couple of them, they feel real nice. You can go ahead and push them in with your finger. It does not take a lot of pressure at all. You'll feel that it just kind of clicks in, so you kind of stick it and click it. Pulling back on this, they are not popping back out. You can see that they do stick through the edge of the Coro slightly, but they do have a pretty low profile. And they definitely feel nice to push through the Coro as opposed to the bullet pixels with all the epoxy on the back. So after pushing the first 50, thumb doesn't hurt at all. These are super easy to push. They just click in. You can go ahead and you can pull on them. They're not popping back out. Go ahead and turn them on. They had that kind of black siding on them, so I'm guessing they're not going to bleed into the Coro quite like some of the other ones do. Yeah, so these give a pretty nice look. You can see that there is kind of a little halo here, but you don't see it bleeding into the flute like some of the other pixels that are lower profile like these. So some of those are super bright. I guess it kind of depends on your viewing angle, but we'll go ahead and we'll push in the gumdrops and we'll see how those are. So there's a lot of different versions of these kind of flat back pixels out there. I have used these gumdrops before, and the ones that I've used are all from Your Pixel Store. All the ones that I have pushed, I've not had any issues pushing them into the Coro. They go right in, and yeah, so these slide all the way through. Go ahead and push them in, and then same thing as you try to pull them back out. They do stay in there. If you do give it a little bit of extra pressure, you can pop them back out, but once they click in, you can kind of click and stick it, and they're basically ready to go. So these ones for me, these ones click in a little bit easier than the gems. So I'm curious what these will look like once we light the two of them up together. So here's kind of the difference between the two. So the gumdrops, you can notice the coloration in the flute slightly here, but it is a little less of a hot spot issue that you see with these. These give you a little more of that hot spot. These are a little bit more translucent, kind of a little more well balanced. The gumdrops felt a little easier to push in. Some of them do feel like they're maybe a little bit loose, but as I'm pulling on them, they are not coming back out. So the gems feel a little bit more snug, but the gumdrops, they are still sticking in here. They are not popping back out. They both stick up about the same out of the Coro, but the gumdrops do stick up a little bit more in the back. So we'll go ahead and now we'll push the standard bullets in and we'll test all three of them together. So now we got them all pushed. So you can kind of see the difference here. You have the standard bullet pixel, which is all the way through the Coro. You can't see the flute at all. You have a little bit of a halo effect from the gems, but you don't really see the flute. And then you have the YPS gumdrops, which you can see the flute a little bit. You don't really have the hot spot that you have from the gems. You have more of this kind of dispersed look here. And then you have your standard bullets. Obviously your bullets stick up the farthest with all the wiring in the back. They're the hardest to push, hardest on the fingers. The gems are probably they're snug in here. They fit, like I said, a little bit better than the gumdrops, but the gumdrops do fit all the way through the Coro. So I know there's been some concerns with some of the different flatbacks that they don't fit in Coro correctly. These ones fit great. So, you know, as I'm pushing on this, it's not popping back out. You can pull on the wire. It's not popping back out. So it is nice and snug in here. Maybe not quite as snug as the gems, but both super easy to push. They don't pop back out. And here's kind of your comparison. So we'll go ahead and we'll do a couple different colors just set up. So I'll kind of get out of the video. We'll prop this up, do a couple different colors so you can see what it looks like in different colors. So hopefully you guys enjoy. And if you have any questions, send us a message. So we have the gems over here on this outside perimeter. We have the gumdrops on this side, and then we have your standard bullets kind of in the center here. One other test I wanted to complete is pushing these lights into a few different brands of Coro. So you saw we just pushed into an EFL Snowflake. We have one of the Gilbert Engineering gumdrops here, and then we have a Boscoyo ornament here. So this is the same gumdrop set we tested before, but this is a 10 count. So we'll go ahead and we'll push this into the Gilbert and then the Boscoyo. We have our bullets, and then we have our gems. So this pushes really nice into the Gilbert prop. So it goes in. And a couple this one doesn't seem like it locked in very well. There it goes. So it looks like some of them it's a little bit loose in some of the Gilbert holes. Some of them it's pretty snug. Some of them it's a little loose. They do come out pretty nice. Now we'll try the Bascoyo one. Takes a little more effort to push into the Bascoyo one, but that should mean that it's not going to come out the way it did in the Gilbert prop. Yeah, so once it's in the Bascoyo one, looks like it's locked in there pretty good. So it's not popping back out the way it did in the Gilbert one. So Gumdrops, real nice snug fit in EFL and Bascoyo. It is a little bit loose in the Gilbert props, at least this Gumdrop. Go ahead and push in a couple of the gems. You hear that nice click. So it locks in nicely to the Bascoyo ornament here. It may be worth noting that this Gumdrop does not have any of the relief holes. So maybe that's part of the reason that these tabs that normally catch the relief holes, they are not notched in this Gumdrop. The gems, they lock in to both of them, so there's no issues there. So it looks like just the Gumdrops are a little bit loose in at least this particular piece of Coro, but they are snug in the Bascoyo and the EFL. So hopefully that helps make your decision. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks.